Do you think playing pro baseball is all fun and games? For most, the minor leagues is where the real work happens. Let's talk about truth behind the life in the minor leagues. My name is Evan Mendoza, and I have 7 years of professional baseball experience, including 3 years at the AAA level. Stay tuned, and I'll share with you why it wasn't always fun. Now, if you like this video and you want to learn directly with me, make sure to check out the 27-page blueprint down below in the description, which will help your player turn into a college prospect. All right, let's get into it. This is going to be the truth of the minor leagues. And like I said, guys, it wasn't always fun, including the daily grind of just playing professional baseball, guys. That's probably the hardest part. Was that necessarily the most not fun part? I don't know. All right, so I'm going to explain to you on what my processes were on a daily basis in professional baseball. So, as far as the physical exhaustion, it really gets past that point, right? You get to a certain level where it feels like you can't even get up out of bed in the morning. And I will tell you that that's happened many, many different times. And to stay active and stay in motion is going to be a key. If you have the ability to play professional baseball one day. But the physical, that's going to look like, just like knee pain, hip pain for me, back pain. Maybe for me also, I broke my wrist. I don't know if you can see that, but, wrist, pain, right? So there's a lot of physical things. Let's say there's a bad hop in the infield and you had to wear one, so like bruises. So like there's going to be times physically you just don't feel the best. And that is completely okay. To expect that you have to be 100% to play a baseball game professionally, that is diabolical, all right? So there are going to be days where you feel like you have like 40%, 60%, and that's okay. Those are the days that you just really have to push through physically. What about mentally? What about going 0 for 4 with 3 punchies, right? What about going 0 for 25? One of my buddies went 1 for 1 to start off his professional career, and then he proceeded to go like 0 for 25 or 0 for 30, and he was hitting 0, he was hitting 050. That was his batting average, right? So think about what that's going to do mentally for you. I hear a lot of high school baseball players, they're struggling mentally because they're in a slump and they haven't gotten a hit in 4 at-bats. It's like, that's not a slump, all right? So think about what that's going to do mentally. And then also, what about, like, let's just say, and that this has happened, I'm okay with sharing this with you, but think about, like, if you have any, that's supposed to say family. Think about if you have any family issues during the season that you have to try to resolve while focusing and playing baseball. It's difficult, right? And this is going to happen throughout the season. There are going to be times where maybe you have a friend, they say something to you, and they kind of, whatever it is, maybe they're chirping you a little bit more than you expect them to since they are a friend, but more than likely they're just jealous that you're playing professional baseball, right? So that's on like the friend side. The family side, that can be difficult. That can be a sticky situation. It's never fun, and that's a mental grind and a mental hurdle that you ultimately need to learn how to get over. Now let's talk about my first ever paycheck of $437 for 2 weeks of work. And this was in rookie ball in State College, Pennsylvania. This was the first ever assignment that I was given when I got drafted by the St. Louis Cardinals organization, all right? So it wasn't always around $400 for 2 weeks of work. My last year when I was in AAA, I think it was around maybe $1,000 for 2 weeks, which was like the best pay that I've ever had. And I thought that was amazing. That was more than enough for me to take care of all of my expenses. But, you really have to, think about minor leaguers and especially the financial aspect, because this is an area where sometimes you just don't have necessarily the means to eat and to take care of your body the best way, right? A lot of the times, for those that don't know, in the whole draft process, especially with college seniors, they don't really have any leverage, right? They either end their professional or end their dreams of playing professional baseball and end their overall baseball career, or continue with an organization for a very, very small signing bonus. And it's usually like $1,000. Usually that goes by really quick. So you have to think about it. Can you actually live on, let's say, like on average, I would say like $800 a week, right? It's hard, it's challenging, but it can be done. But Think about like the financial aspects of like making sure you're eating properly and the food, right? That can, tail end into the mental side of things, the mental struggles on a daily basis, right? I thought it was really interesting earlier in my professional career before the minor league was represented by the Players Association. We would have to do like an apartment or a house, right? And we would usually share it with like three, four, five guys in a two-bedroom, sleeping on air mattresses and whatnot, right? And think about it. If we're only making like $800 every 2 weeks, there's not much left over for food, for gas, for anything else, right? So there are a ton of financial obstacles when you are in the minor leagues, and that's just kind of part of it, right? So it's not always like that though. So think about a monthly salary. And maybe this is just more curiosity for a lot of people listening. Maybe this is going to be more or less just information that you think is cool, but this could be you in 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years from now. There were times where I didn't necessarily think that these things were going to happen for me, but I just kept my head down. I kept working. I kept doing it when I didn't feel like it, right? I just did an Instagram live yesterday. I did not feel like it. I was kind of just in a bad mood. I didn't get great sleep, and I just showed up. And ultimately, showing up when you don't want to do things, that's what matters the most. So, monthly salary, I believe, and this is not necessarily an accurate, to the dollar amount, but I would say ballpark. It's anywhere from like 60 to 70K per month. All right, so per month, 60 or 70K per month, and that's I believe take home. So that's after taxes, I believe. I'm not entirely sure, but I would say a 2 week paycheck at the big league level was around $32,000. So you know, 60 to 70K a month, which is insane, right? At the big league level. But think about it in the minor leagues. Let's say you're a top prospect even at the AAA level. Well, guess what? You're only making 2K per month if you're not on a minor league contract. And there are minor league contracts. If you are on a minor league deal, you could get paid anywhere from like 5 to 15K probably, which is better per month. But a lot of the times when you're on your first year player deal, you're kind of capped out at like 2K a month if you're at the highest level in AAA, right? So think about all the surplus. Like really, your one job is just to perform very well at the major league level. When you're only making 2K a month, you sometimes have to do some side hustles and just figure it out, and that kind of adds on to the mental struggles that you will face on a daily basis in the minor leagues. But now let's talk about the road to the show. All right, so this is going to be something that I'm very passionate about because this is where I started in like state college. In this was technically called rookie ball. It was technically an A level, right? And then I moved up to low A. Let's just go low A. Also like that, right? And that was in Peoria, Illinois. Low A, you can go to high A. High A for me was the Palm Beach, and they've changed a lot over the years, so this isn't like exactly how they are now. But then after that was Double A, which was Springfield Cardinals, Springfield, Missouri, sorry. And then basically there's Triple A, which was Memphis, Tennessee. And I also spent time in El Paso, which was amazing. That El Paso was just great. And then finally, you have the big leagues, right? So you can tell that this is basically just like a huge ladder all the way up to the top. And this is very, very difficult, and there's many mental struggles and physical adjustments that you have to make from rookie ball, obviously to AAA to the big leagues. There's many, many different mechanical adjustments, mental approaches to the game. There's going to be mindset hacks that you learn within the clubhouse, the game, the inner game. There's many, many different things that you ultimately have to figure out from level to level, which is exactly what I did. There are times in high school where I truly felt like I had the game figured out until I played college. And then even my junior year, right before getting drafted, there were times where I felt like I had the game figured out until I got drafted. And then once I got drafted, once I felt like I had the game figured out in rookie ball, well, the game in rookie ball is just dramatically different than the game in AAA and in the big leagues, and even big league spring training. So understanding that you will never, ever have this game figured out is a huge life lesson, really. So the mental toughness and really just like staying motivated with all these variables, right? And you understand the percentages of really making it to that next level. It's not very high. So it's not the view at the top. So let's say that this is a mountain, right? It's not just about getting right here, guys. Let's say you're right here. It's not just about that view to the top, right? You have some eyeballs right here. It's not about this view. It's not. It's not. That's the end goal. That's going to be awesome, but it's not about up here. It's about this journey right here, right? This is the journey that matters. And this is what I kind of call like climbing the ladder. And that's, climbing the ladder of the minor leagues, climbing the ladder of you as a person, just becoming and evolving and growing and developing, right? So this is the time where you have to make sure that you're able to understand where your feet are and understand also that it's it's a very good place to be, and to be able to actually analyze where you're currently at and where you're trying to go, and also to be able to look back and to see where you came from. All right, these are huge tips that honestly I wish everyone understood, because a lot of times we get it caught up into landing a college commitment or going to that next level or just whatever it is. You're never really content with where you're at, but if you look back on where you came from, you can start to understand the progress that you've made. Now, I want to hit on one small little concept that I think is just really interesting, and I kind of came up with this idea. I was golfing out on the course, and if you truly want to maximize your potential or even your player's potential, think about it like this, all right? So we have this golf cart, and there's tons of golf carts that have a governor, right? A governor basically doesn't let you go super fast, right? And when I say like governor, this is probably like 80% of max speed, right? Max speed right there, right? And this is all considered physical, right? Because it's physical, right? But what I think is really interesting is when we mix that mental, we get that extra 20%. And that extra 20% looks like a gust of, or I guess it would be this way. It would be a gust of wind at 100 miles an hour blowing in the same direction as that golf cart. So you're not only doing that physical to 80%, but that mental side of the game, which is really, really important. It interlocks everything, it connects everything together, and then finally you get to see that maximum potential in you or your son's ability. So if you're only focusing on just like going to the gym repetitively, that's great. If you're only focusing on mental, that's okay as well. But really it's the combination of both, right? That will give you your best chances to succeed. If you're only, and it's the same way in like the gym, right? If you're only going to the gym, but you're not eating healthy, that's that 80-20. You're only doing 80, you're missing out on the 20, right? If you're only eating healthy and you're not going to the gym, don't expect crazy results, all right? So this is just something that I helped, understand this concept of really the physical and the mental being pushed together. Now, if your son is a varsity high school baseball player and you want him to turn into a college prospect, go down below and book a call with us. We will discuss you and your player's specific situation, his weaknesses, and even his goals, and also see if there's a possibility of working together. That way we can get him on the right path to land a baseball scholarship.